Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Oh my gosh, what a day we have for us today. Manorah Makom Hazeh. How awesome is this place? How incredible is this community from which was birthed the Bat Mitzvah and so many other incredible innovations in Jewish life. We are so glad to see everyone at home and everyone here, some folks returning after a long time away, some special guests. And for your service today, there's a red book underneath your chair, the smaller of the two red books, the Siddur, and also a handout. And the handout is a guide because we wanted to highlight today Jewish women artists and musicians, and so you can see which melodies we've chosen and hopefully support those artists. So we're going to begin our service on our handout, Ozi v'zimrat Yah, Vayehi li Lishua.
This should be a familiar melody, so I invite all of you to raise your voices in the melody or the harmony. Ozi v'zimrat Yah, vayehi li Lishua. Ozi v'zimrat Yah.
On the ground or your hands on your legs. Just feel some grounding in your body. Our tradition invites us in the mornings to recognize the gifts of these bodies. The very fact that we woke up means that our bodies work enough. They don't have to be perfect. We might have a complicated relationship to them, but they work, and they helped us be here today. And if one of those openings were closed where it needed to be open, we would not be able to stand in awe and to pray this morning. Blessed are you, healer of all flesh and source of breath and life. Page 215 in your Siddur, 29 in the PDF that is in the chat. This is a melody that is newer to the congregation, although I think we've heard before. Psalm 121, from where does my help come? From the source of life, the maker of heaven and earth. Page 213. Under the line is the transliteration, last three lines in Hebrew, and also transliterated in the chat. Louder than the sound of the mighty waters, more exalted than the breaker of the seas, raised up on high are you. So let us raise our voices high. Please sing or hum along with us so we can bring each other into this sacred moment.
Mikolot ma'im rabim, adirim nishpereyam. Mikolot ma'im rabim, adirim nishpereyam.
great liturgist, Marcia Falk, feminist, trailblazing liturgist. Nishmat chai tevarech bekerev libi yashir, kol od neshama bekirbi, moda ani. The breath of my life will bless. The cells of my being sing in gratitude, reawakening. Psalm 150, page 231 or 33, there's a correction to the handout. This is the melody by the beloved Debbie Friedman, Zichrona Livracha. To answer the call, we are ready to pray as a community. The Baruch Hu 247 or 40.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu Ruach Haolam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Osei Shalom Uvorei et HaKol. You can be seated. Let all beings acknowledge you. Let all cry praise to you. was it, Claire? You were the one. On page 257, and also transliterated on that page, are also found on page 48 in the PDF. We find one of our SAJ favorites, Ha'aderet v'ha'amuna v'chai olamim, and we want everyone to really join us in affirming the amazing holiness of this moment by crying out and shouting out and singing out L'chai olamim, page 257.
Ha'aderet v'ha'emuna
L'chai olamim,
ha'bina v'ha'beracha
L'chai olamim,
ha'ga'ava v'ha'gedula
L'chai olamim,
ha'adeya v'ha'dibur
L'chai olamim, Yai lai lai lai, Yai lai lai, Yai lai lai lai, Yai lai lai, Yai lai lai, Yai lai lai, Yai 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 Yai,
ha'od v'ha'adar
L'chai olamim,
ha'avad v'ha'vatikut
L'chai olamim,
ha'azok v'ha'zohar
L'chai olamim,
ha'chayil v'ha'chosen
L'chai olamim, Yai lai lai lai, Yai 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 lai lai, Hamechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Uvtuvo. A goodness the Divine One renews perpetually every single day of creation. In Reconstructionist terms, this means that, and it is up to us every day to renew creation, to look at the world and to say it can be better, to look at the world and say we can create, to look at the world and say we can be good and kind, and to work step by step towards that goal, so that every day when we go to sleep and then we wake up, we're a little bit further into that ongoing, perpetual renewal of creation. As God renews, so may we. Amen. Or Hadash, page 269, page 53 in the handouts.
Or Hadash, Al Zion Ta'ir. 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 ונזכה כולנו, ונזכה כולנו, במהרה לאורו. ונזכה כולנו, ונזכה כולנו, במהרה לאורו. ינאי, ינאי, Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMeor.
With an abounding love, we are loved. And therefore, we will not despair even in life's darkest moments, says Rabbi Kaplan, knowing we are loved by an abundant source of love. We're going to sing just the first few words, Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu. But instead of Adonai, this song says, this melody says Havaya, life force, breath. And you can feel the breath as you say Havaya. So invite you to join us.
277. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We'll continue the rest of the Shema to ourselves with the first or second paragraph and then the third paragraph, or some moments of quiet contemplation or meditation.
והיה Adonai Elohechem Emet.
I'm going to bring another liturgist, Jewish woman, feminist liturgist to the room, Aurora Levins Morales, who's a Puerto Rican Jewish writer and poet. And I support her on Patreon, which is why I can use her poetry to really make sure that we support our artists. And this poem I've read a few times at SAJ. I'm going to probably not read the whole thing, but it is called Ve'ahavta, so it's like what we just read, but it also helps us bridge Ve'ahavta going into this moment of redemption. I think especially since the war in Ukraine, these words are even more palpable. Ve'ahavta. Say these words when you lie down and when you rise up, when you go out and when you return, in times of mourning and in times of joy. Inscribe them on the doorposts, embroider them on your garments, tattoo them on your shoulders, teach them to your children, your neighbors, your enemies. Recite them in your sleep. Here in the cruel shadow of empire, another world is possible. Imagine winning. This is your sacred task. This is your power. Imagine every detail of winning. The exact smell of the summer streets in which no one has been shot, the muscles you have never unclenched from worry, gone soft as newborn skin, the sparkling taste of food when we know that no one on earth is hungry, that beggars are fed, that the old man under the bridge and the woman wrapping herself in thin sheets in the back of a car, and the children who suck on stones nest under a roof, a flock of roofs that keep multiplying their shelter. Lean with all your being towards the day when the poor of the world shake down a rain of good fortune out of the heavy clouds, and justice roll down like waters. Defend the world in which we win as if it were your child. It is your child. Defend it as if it was your lover. It is your lover. When you inhale and when you exhale, breathe the possibility of another world into the 37.2 trillion cells of your body until it shines with hope, and then imagine more. Don't waver. Don't let despair sink its sharp teeth into the throat with which we sing. Escalate your dreams. Make them burn so fiercely that you can follow them down any dark alleyway of history and not lose your way. Make them burn clear as a starry drinking gourd over the grim fog of exhaustion, and keep walking. Hold hands. Share water. Keep imagining so that we and the children of our children's children may live. Page 291.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
turn to page 295 or 67 for the Amidah. If you are able, we remain standing. On the top of the page, we'll sing and move through the first 3 paragraphs of the Amidah and then have an opportunity for silent prayer with either the words in the book or our own words. And when you're done your personal prayer, you can have a seat. Page 295.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach, Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach, U'marid hagashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei kol chay berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'ofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata le'achayot kol chai, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh kol chai.
Page 303.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היו נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה, ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק, משמיעים קול מן Naseim Leomat Serafim, Leomatam Baruch Yomeru, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkomo. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש, בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, ולנצח נצחים. בינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
On your handout, oh, say shalom.
Oh, say shalom. Be Roma. Oh, Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Whew. Okay, we are going to begin our Torah service, honoring some of our many, many firsts and many wonderful things. Invite you to please rise. We turn to page 383, but for the Torah, is that the right page? From the bottom, second half, right? So instead of the paragraph 3, it's actually 385. And in the chat, instead of the paragraph we normally chant, the first one, we're going to do Pihuli, open up the gates of righteousness. Please join with us.
Pithuli sharei tzedek, pithuli sharei tzedek, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya. Pithuli sharei tzedek, pithuli Sharei tzedek, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya. Pithuli sharei tzedek, pithuli sharei tzedek, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya, avovam modeya.
Page 393, responsively.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Echad Eloheinu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadelul Adonai iti, Unromema Shemo yachtav. Ramemu, Ramemu, Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'nishtadavu l'Ador
Shabbat, Shalom, and welcome to this incredible day. It's been so beautiful singing together so far today, and we have so much to celebrate, and we will continue to celebrate. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Torah service and the honors so you can be ready when it's your turn. And it's also outlined today in your booklet, so you can get that reminder as well. So our Torah portion today is Tzav. It is thought to be the instruction manual for the Kohanim. And our aliyot this morning are going to be 5. And the first aliyah is going to be for anyone observing a yard site today. The second aliyah will be for anyone who is, I know there are a bunch of you, who are celebrating a joyous occasion today or nearby. And the third, fourth, and fifth are in honor of the 100th anniversary of SAJ's, in honor of the Bat Mitzvah and 100th anniversary. So the third aliyah is going to be in honor of the Bat Mitzvah pioneers. We have at least 2, maybe 3 at SAJ, or maybe more that I don't know about, were actually the very first in their congregations. And that's part of our national anniversary. As you know, I believe you know, the whole country is celebrating today. The whole entire country is celebrating what SAJ and Jewish Women's Archive organized, Rise Up Shabbat. So in other congregations too, know that the Bat Mitzvah pioneers are likely being honored in congregations across the country. Our fourth aliyah is going to be for anyone who ever had or is about to have, because we have a cohort coming up, adult B mitzvahs or bat, or that's whatever gender of you, please come forward for that. And then the fifth aliyah is going to be for special firsts within SAJ and within the larger Reconstructionist movement. Okay, so I think this is ready? Cancelista? Okay, so we are ready to begin the Torah service. And if you want to take out your larger red books under your chair, if you haven't already, the Torah reading is found on page 621, and we have some special guests reading the Torah this morning, including Erev Rav, Sarah Brammer-Schley, our former intern. Okay. Okay. V'yazor v'yogein v'yoshia l'chol chasim bo v'nomar amen. Hakol havu god Eloheinu tkavod laTorah. Na la'amod la'aliyah harishona. Baruch shenatan Torah li'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. V'atem madlikim Adonai Elohechem chayim kolchem hayom. We're on chapter 8, verse 1, 621 in your Eitz Chaim.
If there's anyone on Zoom observing a yard site,
The Lowensteins are there?
please unmute, and we will find you and spotlight you. I'm not sure if they're there.
Baruch et Adonai hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu che'olamim asher kirvanu la'avodato v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noted haTorah.
Amen.
Adonai el Moshe lemor ka et Aharon ve'et banav itoho ve'et habegadim ve'et shemen hamishcha ve'et pahar hachatat ve'et shenei ha'elim ve'et sal hamatzohot ve'et kol ha'eda hakel El Peta Ohel Moed V'yas Moshe Ka'asher Tzivaha Adonai Oto V'tikachel Ha'edaha El Peta Ohel Moed V'yomer Moshe El Ha'edaha Zeh Hadavar asher tzivah Adonai lasot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei olamim asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. This is belated 7th yahrzeit of my sister Ruth, 10th of my mother Enid, and 32nd of my father Bill.
Thank you for sharing. Joan, did you want to share the name of someone you're observing, the yahrzeit?
Michael Davidson.
Okay, yes, we're still mourning him. Do you want to?
Sarah.
I'm going to chant the El Maleh Memorial Prayer in the memory of those we're remembering today. El Maleh Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Hamtzei Menocha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina B'malot Kedoshim U'Tehorim Kezohar Harakia Mazirim Lanishmot Yakirenu Kedoshenu Shehalchu Leolamam Ana Bal Harachamim Hastirem B'tzal Kanafecha Leolamim Utzror Bitzor HaChayim Nishmatam Adonai Hu Nachalatam Yanuchu V'Shalom Amishkavam V'Nomar Amen.
Second Aliyah, Nala Amud, we call all of the many smachot in the room, things people want to celebrate. Please come forward. Oh, and Michelle is reading. And we have another special guest. For those who have been at SAJ longer will remember Michelle Katz, our former administrator. And come forward to get in the Torah. Let's mute everyone at home unless there's someone. Okay, I see Caitlin. Okay, no, Caitlin. Okay, you can. Good. Okay, ready? Yeah.
Baruch et Adonai.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Ba'en.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shemanu Adonai v'natam lanu et kelecho. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
We're on verse 6 on the same page.
Vayakrev Moshe et Aharon ve'et banav, vayirchatzotam b'mayim, vayitain alav et akutonet, vayachgor oto b'avnit, vayagor oto b'avnit, vayalbish oto et hameil, vayitain alav et haifod, vayachgor oto b'cheshev haifod, vayipod lo bo, vayasem alav et hachoshen, vayiten el hachoshen et ha'urim ve'et hatumim, vayasem et hamitznefet al rosho, vayasem el hamitznefet al emul panav, et tzitz hazahav nezer hakodesh kasher tziva Adonai et Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
asher natan Torah temet v'hayah v'hinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Okay, is it working? Working? Hold on. Doesn't sound like it's working. Let's do this one. Okay, I know of some and I don't know of others. Let me start with the ones that I know. Sarah is joining us and for the first time since her internship here. And a lot has happened in between, like a global pandemic and everything else. And during the global pandemic, she is basically almost done with rabbinical school. In May, will be graduated as a rabbi. And she has a job at Grinnell College as the spiritual advisor, as the rabbi and spiritual advisor at Grinnell College. So mazal tov to Sarah. We get to say we knew you when. Okay. Another big announcement is that Michelle is here in support of our wonderful anniversary, and she's going to go to our RC, the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College, in the fall. Okay. All right. Now I know there's an anniversary and a birthday. Joanna, what?
This is my last chance to be in person at services because I'm going to Santa Fe, New Mexico for a month to start a program to become certified as a Feldenkrais movement
wonderful.
practitioner.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll miss you, but go in health and go in strength and come back with many more gifts to share our community, and we'll see you online. Do you want me to talk? Okay, sorry. There's another addendum to the Michelle Katz family announcement, which is that her husband, also that happened between the time we saw each other, her husband, Robbie, just officially joined the Jewish people. Mazal tov. Okay, going down the line. Okay, yeah, Lizzie. Emily, obviously I know that. Oh, okay, great. So now we have 2 wedding anniversaries. Okay. Yeah, you want to say? Go ahead. Yeah.
We're celebrating our 35th anniversary.
Mazel tov. And Bill and Emily, you want to say into the mic?
Yeah, we're celebrating our 16th. You're almost twice up.
Wonderful. Okay. So let's do the anniversaries. Misha Barak, Abatena, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Matenu, Sarif, Kavra, Kavalaya. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, bless you who have come forward today in honor of community, in honor of Torah, and in honor of love, and in honor of commitment, in honor of your 35th, and in honor of your 16th wedding anniversaries. May you find today abundant blessing. May you find today abundant joy. May you have a wonderful year of continuing to grow in support and love and kindness and compassion with each other. May you find many, many, many more blessings in your larger families and communities support you in your marriage. And may you go from strength to strength. And let us say, Amen. Okay, who's online who has a simcha? George and Barbara, what's going on with over there, George?
81st birthday.
His birthday? Okay, so then we have 2 birthdays. This is perfect. Okay, so it's Alan's 75th birthday. Woo! Okay. Misha Barak, Avatena, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Matenu, Sarah, Kavalea. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, bless you who have risen today in honor of Shabbat, in honor of the Bat Mitzvah, and also in honor of your 81st, is that what I heard? And
Yes.
5th birthdays. May you find abundant blessings today. May you have a year of much more ability to see people that you love and to enjoy freedom. May you have a year of happiness and discovery and wisdom and knowledge and much more of the things that you are passionate about that you might be able to continue to pursue in this time. May we all be blessed through you, and let us say amen. And for all these amazing blessings, I think we have everyone. Okay, let's sing Mazel Tov. Mazel tov, mazel tov. So you all can be seated. And for our third aliyah, we're going to call up the Nala Amod, the Bat Mitzvah pioneers. I know 2 SAJ Bat Mitzvah pioneers. And I don't know if Gail Tunkel is also a Bat Mitzvah pioneer now. She's online. But if so, she'll join us as well. And anyone else, if I don't know about you. And we're on verse 10. We're on verse 10. And we're spotlighting Ava, who is going to be reading the Torah from home, a teen laner from home, who also wrote an article in the West Side Rag about the Bat Mitzvah. And so I just want to say, for everyone who might be looking at their watches, don't worry. A Bat Mitzvah 100-year anniversary only comes once in a lifetime, and we're not rushing, okay? So all is good. All right. Okay. We are on page 622, chapter 8, verse 10.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kervanu la'avodato v'natan lanu et Torato.
Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
ויקח משה את שמן המשחה, וימשח את המשכן, ואת כל אשר בו, ויקדש אותם, ויח ממנו על המזבח 7 פעמים, וימשח את המזבח, ואת כל כליו, ואת הכיור, ואת כנו לקדשם, ויציק משמן המשחה על ראש אהרון, וימשח אותו לקדשו, ויקרב משה את בני אהרון, ועל דבישם כותנות, ויחגור אותם אבנית, ויחבוש להם מגבעות, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan lanu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. And May, were you also first in your congregation?
Yes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think.
Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. So we have 4. That's amazing. Bat mitzvah pioneers. And I'm sharing the Misha Barach that I wrote for this occasion through the JWA SAJ Rise Up website. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, Miriam, and Abigail, Ruth, and Esther, bless all of you, and May, Gail, Ruth, and Carol, who have risen today in honor of Torah, in honor of community, in honor of the Holy One, and in honor of their pioneering first bat mitzvah at Park Avenue. What was yours?
Shift Center.
Shift Center. Gail, what was where were you? It was in
Ridge
Ridgewood.
Temple Israel.
Okay, great. And May, where were you?
Okay, I guess I'm getting something mixed up. I
Okay,
thought
you're
this was
going
the
later.
SAJ.
Okay.
I thought this was the SAJ, Aaliyah.
Oh, that's later. That's later. You're coming
Okay.
up. Don't worry. That's what I thought. You're the 4th Aliyah. On the 100th anniversary of the Bat Mitzvah, we are grateful to the brave women in our congregation, Judith Kaplan and beyond, who initiated Bat Mitzvah in communities across North America for generations to come. We honor you today and celebrate your chutzpah and your commitment and your willingness, like Judith Kaplan, to step forward as a Bat Mitzvah when there were no one others to lead the way. This is not the same one. May you be blessed with satisfaction as you see girls, women, and people of all genders walk the path that you have forged and that take their place in Jewish life. May you find continued success in all of your labors, be granted health and joy along with all of your siblings among the people of Israel and the world. And let us say, Amen.
Rabbi Carol was 1956, I was 1953.
1953 and 1956. Gail, what year were you? Oh, she's muted. You're muted. Yeah, Carol's even in the exhibit.
My photos back
That's
there, you can see
amazing.
what I looked like at age 13.
Okay, we're going to invite you guys to sit. Gail, what year was it?
I believe 63.
63.
62
Amazing.
or 63. Yeah.
We're going to take a moment to offer a prayer for healing, and the words for the blessing for healing are in the handout. Debbie Friedman, Misha Barach. I will pause in between to offer our congregational names and any additional names you want to share.
Okay. Say bye-bye.
Thank you. Mazel tov. Okay, ready? Misha Josephson, Paul Rosenblum, Zelda Bat Devorah, Israel, Mort Gerber, Chava Bat Moish, Paul Lindenbaum, Phyllis Kreitner, Eva Reisman, Kayla Bat Sarah, Amy Mandelker, Margot Hellman, Florence Cohen, Tehila Bat Bella, Florence Rosenthal, Ruth Goldenson, Kate Frici, Joel Prosky, Shalom Hellman, Alan Gard, Yaakov Ben Ladi, Reyes Ben Sarah, Chava Bachaya, George Frega, Jennifer Novak, Shimon Ben Sviva Esther, Hanan Lev Ben Leah, Abigail Feder-Kane, Hagen Gottfried, Joseph, Heidi, Nanette, and Jesse Gottfried, Sonali, Rodhochori, Ari Vogel, Al Seidenberg, Jackie Seidenberg, Al Broder, Samantha Mantel, Tybal Rachel, Bat Hashkav Avraham, Sarah Bat Leah Goldie.
Shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Amen. Our fourth aliyah is on page 622, verse 14 to 17. And this is the one for MA and all the others who have had or are about to have an adult bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, whatever, gender, whatever, however you call it, inspired by the actions of our ancestors. We call up, wow, look at this group. Okay, we've got our cohort that's coming up April 30th, as well as several cohorts that happened in the 2000s. You have it? Lisa, you got it? Does Laura? Okay.
Someone's tell us. 1, 2, 3.
A lot of people.
We had mine. I don't understand now.
Vaya amen, vaya geshe parachatat, vayismoch Aharon uvanav et yedehem al rosh parachatat, vayishchat, vayikach Moshe et hadam, vayiten al karnot hamizbeach saviv b'etzba'o, vaychate et hamizbeach Viet hadam yatsak el yesod hamizbeach vayikadeshehu lechaper alav vayikach et kol hachelev asher al hakerev ve'et yoter et hakaved viet shetei hakalayot viet hel behen vayakter Moshe hamizbecha viet Hapar, viet oro, viet bisaro, viet pirsho, saraf baesh, michutz lamachane ka'asher, siva Adonai et Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan Torah v'hayom Eloheinu Baruch atah Adonai
Amen. I've invited our current rabbinical intern, Noah Reuben Blos, to bless this cohort, this group. He is co-stewarding the adult bar mitzvah cohort that is coming April 30th.
And it's an honor to be sharing a blessing, actually, that Rabbi Lauren wrote along with the other one, several blessings that she wrote for this occasion. And such an honor to be working with all of you. Mishaberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Miriam, Abigail, Ruth, Esther, Va'avotenu, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, Miriam, Abigail, Ruth, and Esther, Bless all who have risen today in honor of Torah, in honor of the Holy One, in honor of community, in honor of your past and upcoming Bi Mitzvah, B'nai Mitzvah, Benot Mitzvah, Re Mitzvah. On this 100th anniversary of Bat Mitzvah, we remember that in the course of Jewish history, Bat Mitzvah is only a recent phenomenon. We give thanks to Judith Kaplan, to all of those pioneers who established Bat Mitzvah and Bi Mitzvah for generations to come. We honor those who came before us, who paved a way for us and for other adult Jews to follow in their footsteps and claim our rightful place in Jewish community. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki leolam hasto. Exclaim praise to the Holy One, for God is good and loving kindness is eternal. By the merit of coming to the Torah, may you draw closer to the Holy One. May our lives be enriched by the bonds of tradition and community. May you know blessings of success and health, along with all of your siblings in the people of Israel. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Mazel tov.
Our final Aliyah, Nala Amod, we call SAJ and Reconstructionist female or feminist first. So please come forward. And I know Jill Prosky, Jim Posner should be online. Yeah. For our fifth Aliyah, we are on page 623, verse 18.
Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirvanu lavodato, v'nalanu et torato. Baruch Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayakrave et el haolah, vayismechu Aharon vanav et yirehem al rosh ha'ayil, vayashchet vayizrok Moshe et Adam al hamizbeach saviv, ve'et ha'ayil nitach lintachav, vayakter Moshe et rosh, ואת הניתחים ואת הפרד, ואת הקרב ואת הקרעיים רחץ במים, ויקטר משה את כל העיל המזבח, עולהו לריח ניחוח, ישהו לאדוני, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Asher natan lanu Torah te'emet, v'hayei olam lecha b'toheinu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. I want to acknowledge Rabbi Julie Schoenfeld as the first female rabbi of SAJ back in a long time ago, before it was popular. So Issher Koach SAJ on that. And who was the first female cantor? Was it Elisheva? Yeah, Elisheva Yeisenfreit, I think is how you say it. So we thank them for paving the way for Cancer Lisa and myself. Also on the Zoom is the first female board chair of SAJ, which was Jill Prasky, which was at the time a huge deal. It was unprecedented. Before then, she was, I believe, the treasurer, moved into the presidency. It was not uncontroversial, I'm imagining. Thank you for everything you have done to shape SAJ into the institution that it is. We are so grateful for you, and we stand in awe of you and appreciate and love you so much. We also have the very first female Hagba in the room, Sarah Baglio, who's going to have a repeat performance soon in lifting up the Torah. And of course, the very first female Reconstructionist rabbi in the US in American history, and Rabbi Sandy Sasso, and the first rabbinic married couple in history with her husband, Rabbi Dennis Sasso. So mazal tov to all of you, and we honor your leadership, vision, and commitment. May you be kept and held in blessing. May you continue to see the fruits of your labor and blossoming in our community and larger community. May you be granted health and kept from all harm, along with all of your siblings and the people of Israel around the world. And let us say, Amen. Mazal tov and yeshar koach to everyone. We call now the Hagba and Galila, so I invite you to rise, embody your spirit. Na la'amod lahagba'a v'ligalila. Please, Izzy, come forward to join us as we lift and wrap the Torah. This was my portion that you're reading. Yeah. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Do you remember how?
Who is in Teen Vogue and on the ABC News about SAJ's 100th anniversary of the Bat Mitzvah, and who just told me it was her Torah portion this week was this one. So how amazing is that? Okay, perfect full circle. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hundreds of congregations across the country are celebrating Rise Up Shabbat Bat Mitzvah at 100, a project created and shaped by SAJ and the Jewish Women's Archive. There have been about 16 different news articles about it. Read all about it. We'll send them all out after Shabbat as well. Over this coming Shabbat, congregations across the country, from New York to Los Angeles to Missouri to Ontario to Virginia to Chicago, Boston, everywhere in between, are celebrating the Bat Mitzvah anniversary, utilizing the resources created on the Rise Up website. And there is even, as I heard and I mentioned on Thursday, a congregation in Brussels who is celebrating the Bat Mitzvah, and probably others as well. And every single rabbi that I know posted a picture of their Bat Mitzvah on Facebook or Instagram this week, along with just a few others like Mayim Bialik, Gabby Giffords, Alana Glazer, and more. And that is because of what we are doing right here and because of what we represent at SAJ. So let's all give ourselves a hand of applause. I'm only going to say one or two more words because I want to make sure we bring up Rabbi Sandy, but I just want to say, as I've said this year, that it is not an accident and it's not coincidental that the bat mitzvah happened at SAJ. SAJ held its first meeting on January 17th, 1922. Just 2 weeks later, on February 5th, Rabbi Kaplan went to the SAJ newly formed board and asked if it was okay to initiate the rite of bat mitzvah and to offer that honor to his daughter. And just 6 weeks later, and by the way, we do have the board minute records. I forgot to photocopy them, but they were online and we'll get them to everyone this week. So we have it in print, February 5th, 1922, the original records. Just 6 weeks later, Judith Kaplan Eisenstein became the first woman in American Judaism to have a bat mitzvah. And yes, bat mitzvah looked very differently than it does today, but it was still the beginning of something that changed everything. It ignited nothing short of a revolution of egalitarianism in Jewish life over time. And as women and girls ascended the bima, they wanted more. Board presidents, getting involved in various ways. And it's critical to also note that this gender revolution in Judaism has opened the doors of access for other groups on the margins as well. Jews by choice, LGBTQ Jews, those in interfaith households, Jews of color, and it's provided a framework for a Judaism that actively goes out and seeks to find the voices of those who are not there and bring them into the center. So who better to mark this anniversary with than the great Rabbi Sandy Sassow. She is a pioneer and trailblazer in so many ways. The first Reconstructionist female rabbi graduating in 1974, is that correct? Just 2 years after Sally Presand, and was a very close friend, I'm sure we'll hear more about, of Judith Kaplan Eisenstein, Zichrono Livracha, and her husband, Ira Eisenstein, Zichrono Livracha. She wrote a children's book on the bat mitzvah, Judy Led the Way, which all of our kids got to hear and spend time thinking about this morning. And I would just say that she is also, her bio is in your handout. It is, please read it when you can. She is also a prolific children's author. And she's written books on a lot of topics, but including Jewish women and including Regina Jones, the woman who was kind of the first, but underrated first that we can learn about another time. And in her retirement, she is the founding member of a new organization, Women for Change Indiana, correct? Is that the right title? Advocating for women's rights in the state of Indiana. And God knows we need her to be doing that there. And thank you so much, Rabbi Sasso, to come forward, please.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's just wonderful to be here. And I just have to say, I had this great experience between 10 to 11 upstairs in your social hall that there were, I don't know, maybe about 25 students beginning from first grade, I think up till 7th or 8th grade. And I have taught a lot of Sunday school classes, and I have been to a lot of synagogues. I have never seen such an incredible group of youngsters who were attentive, had great questions, and were just so engaged. I mean, you should clap for that. I left thinking, oh my God, can't we have this in every congregation? How incredible. They are amazing. I also want to thank Rabbi Lauren so much. Now, you may not know this, but when Dennis and I went on sabbatical, do you know what year it was? 2003, Rabbi Lauren was the rabbinic intern during our absence. And I knew then what I see now, that she is an incredible, wonderful rabbi, and you are indeed very fortunate. I mean, this incredible celebration of 100-year of bat mitzvah is really a credit and a tribute to your congregation and to your rabbi. And It means a great deal to me to be able to be here to celebrate, and also, you know, to my husband, Dennis, to be together in this very place. In 1974, when I was ordained from the Reconstruction Rabbinical College, I first worked upstairs, which was then the Reconstructionist Federation of Congregations, the Chavarot. I collated all the magazines. It was not the most exciting job, but I also was rabbi of the Manhattan Reconstructionist Chavarot for some of you remember, oh yes, for 3 years. And then Dennis and I went to Indianapolis to Congregation Bethel Zedek, where the first rabbi was Rabbi Milton Steinberg. So it has a long history of connection to Reconstructionism. We have been there. I worked there for 36 years with Dennis, and then Dennis is continuing rabbi there. I think you're in your 42nd year. See, I lost count. So we've had a long history there and very connected to this movement. So it's great to be here. So this week's Torah portion tells us about the various sacrifices that were offered at the temple, the sin offering, the guilt offering, the thanksgiving offering. And later, the rabbis would teach that in messianic times, when the world would be perfected and there would be no more war and no more hunger and no more illness and nothing to ask for, there wouldn't be any need for any of these offerings and prayers except one, except for the prayer of thanksgiving. And today is indeed a moment of thanksgiving, a moment of Shehechianu. Rabbi Kaplan considered the Shehechianu the most important prayer, not only because it is an expression of gratitude, but because it is an expression of the evolving nature of Judaism. The Higianu, we have arrived at a new moment. And we are always arriving at new moments and new places. And so today, as we honor Judith and all who have walked in her footsteps, we continue to celebrate new moments of arrival. And I can't think of a better time to together join in that prayer of thanksgiving as Shehechianu. So please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, Shehechianu, v'kiyimanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Amen. So 100 years is a short time in the course of history. But just over 100 years ago, listen to some of the things that women could not do. Now, I totally amazed your students upstairs. Women could not serve on a jury. Women could not shop without an escort. Women could not join the military. Women could not wear whatever they wanted. Let me add that when I was ordained and I started working at the synagogue, I never wore pants. It would not have been accepted. Women could not have a job while pregnant. I'll tell you a story about being in New York in the 70s. I was pregnant. I was on a bus going to the congregation to lead services. And I was standing, visibly pregnant, and the man was sitting on the bus, and he looked at me and said, "I'm not getting up for you. If you are pregnant, you shouldn't be working, you should be at home." Okay, 1970s. Listen, women could not have their own credit card, and they couldn't open a bank account. If they were citizens and they married a non-citizen, they would lose their citizenship. I married a non-citizen. Dennis is from Panama, from Latin America. I didn't lose my citizenship. Things have changed. When you place bat mitzvah in that context, you realize how extraordinary an event it was. And now here we are together marking the centennial of this transformative event. Now we all know that Judith tried to minimize her accomplishment. How many times have we heard her words? No thunder sounded, no lightning struck. But what happened on the morning of March 18th, 100 years ago, was revolutionary. And I think that that is how all great revolutions begin, with what at first sight seems only natural, like a black woman taking a seat at the front of the bus. To paraphrase a verse from the Megillah, which Rabbi Lauren mentioned Thursday evening, who knows, perhaps it was for a time like this that you, Judith, have arisen. Now, I knew Judith. I was very fortunate to work with Rabbi Ira Eisenstein, with Judith Kaplan Eisenstein at the Reconstruction Rabbinical College. We became close friends. Dennis was rabbi of the Reconstructionist congregation in the North Shore, where Rabbi Ira Eisenstein used to come in for Shabbat evening to lead services, and where Judith led the music. Amazingly, okay? Everybody had notated music, and everybody sang in harmony. And believe me, for someone who doesn't know how to sing, this was an amazing accomplishment. When I decided to write this book, I felt that the story was just a paragraph in a history book. I mean, you guys may have all known it, but I'm in Indiana. Nobody knew that. I wanted to tell the story. I wanted it to be seen not solely as her father's innovation, but it was also her accomplishment. How easy it is for us to forget how difficult it was and how extraordinary and how lonely it had to be to take those first steps. And how important it is for us to remember and to retell stories and honor the struggle and not to take it for granted. When I was upstairs, I showed and left the book about Rabbi Regina Jonas that I wrote. And one of the students said, "How come we never knew her story?" We never knew her story because no one was willing to tell it. And there were famous people who knew it. She worked in Theresen with Rabbi Leo Beck and with Viktor Frankl. She was murdered in Auschwitz. Nobody told her story. It wasn't until after the Berlin Wall fell that a Protestant minister found her papers, a female Protestant minister, and the story started to be told. We need to tell these stories that have been hidden and secret for far too long. So Judith believed, obviously, it was the right thing to do, despite her grandmother's opposition. Yet, I wanted kids to understand that she was also apprehensive, self-conscious, as any child at that age would be. I wanted to tell a story that would help young people understand that it's okay to be afraid, that it's okay and normal to be worried when you're doing something different for the first time. It's okay to worry about what everybody else out there is thinking. But there are ways to overcome those fears, and Judith showed us the way. So in Judith's own words describing the experience, I had mixed feelings. I was certainly happy to be important, but on the other hand, I was uncomfortable. When you're 12 years old and you don't want to be too different. And this was being different. I was pretty scared. I was alone in front of the room with all the men. Ma was far away from me. I had to talk loud, and I had to say every syllable. Judith had a unique relationship with her father. We all know how talented she was. She learned Hebrew and French and English. She was reading at 2.5, Hebrew at 3. She skipped grades so that she never learned long division. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And she was incredible in music. And of course, at 11, she asked her father if God were an old man sitting up there, and if that were the case, she didn't believe in God. I remember the story that Kaplan responded, "Well, I don't believe in that kind of God either." And the story I wrote is full of questions, encouraging kids to ask the hard questions. Kids have a deep spiritual life, and And the problem is we don't give them permission or the language to tell us about it. And a lot of my writing for children is to give kids the language. So I just want to, in case you haven't seen it yet, this is Judy Led the Way. And I know you have one here at the synagogue, and I just let the story of Regina Persisted, Rabbi Regina Jonas, upstairs with your religious school. So 49 years after Judith became a bat mitzvah, I walked into the doors of the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College as its first woman student. I was 10 years older than Judith was when she first chanted the blessings over the Torah. But I was as, if not more, apprehensive. I was, in many ways, like most 22-year-olds at the time. I had long, straight hair, and I had a guitar in my bedroom, even though I only played 3 chords. My grandparents did not object, at least not out loud, but a woman reading a newspaper about me in my first year sent me a letter. I want to share a part of it with you. This little note comes to let you know that I read the caption in the paper, and I was never so unhappy for such a long time. My first reaction was, she must be nuts. So I am hoping that you will do a very great deal of studying, and somewhere along the line, you will decide that you are pursuing the wrong goal. And you might back up and end up on the right track after all. Ordinarily, I would sign off by wishing much success, but this time I will refrain. In fact, I hope you do not become a rabbi for my sake, for your sake, and for Judaism's sake. July 28th, 1970. That was just one expression of how much opposition there was out there. Just a few weeks before my ordination in 1974, I gave a talk on Jewish feminism and the need for change at a local Philadelphia congregation. The rabbi got up, thanked me for my visit, and added, "When you grow up, you will change your mind." Thank you for coming. When I began my rabbinical studies, there was not one single book about women and Judaism. Nothing. I went looking because I had to give talks. I said, well, let me go research this. There was nothing to research. So I decided maybe I should write a dissertation about women in Judaism. I was discouraged. I was told, don't write about women, write about something important. I regret to say I listened. I mean, it was enough breaking barriers, that was enough. So a strong wave of feminism, secular feminism, was emerging in the 1970s. Remember, some of you, Ms. Magazine? Most of the writers were Jewish, never wrote about religion. They had, in some ways, rejected religion as patriarchal and unredeemable. So they wrote about how women could be lawyers and doctors and business leaders, but women clergy? No, that was unheard of. In rabbinical seminary, it wasn't just that no one was answering the questions I had. The fact was that nobody was asking them. It was lonely. At the beginning, I believed my being a woman simply didn't matter. I just wanted to be a rabbi. But soon I discovered that being a woman was not the only point, but neither was it beside the point. And you have certainly seen that with what women have brought to enhance Jewish tradition. I had the opportunity of being the keynote speaker at the 70th anniversary of Judith's becoming a bat mitzvah. That was in 1992. And I just want to share a little piece of what I said then. Over 2,000 years ago, tradition tells us that over 70 men cloistered in separate rooms wrote the Greek Septuagint. the first translation of the Bible. Today, meaning that day in 1992, women joined to speak out together to honor and celebrate with Judith the first bat mitzvah. Over 2,000 years ago, 70 men wrote a translation out of their experience, which influenced generations of those who read the Bible. We must dare imagine what the gathering of 70 women who seek to translate our sacred narrative out of our experience will mean for generations yet to come. From ritual to life cycle, from liturgy to theology, from history to biblical interpretation, to new styles of leadership, the landscape of Jewish life has changed. Mordecai Kaplan had always written about the evolving tradition and reconstructing rituals in ways that were tied to the past, even as they spoke to the present, that were personally rewarding and communally connected. He proposed a Judaism that was intellectually coherent, morally compelling, and aesthetically pleasing. With Judith's bat mitzvah, that ideology became a reality. So 100 years ago, we struggled with how to break free from the bonds of tradition that held us so tightly that we could barely breathe. And with a measure of humility and a degree of audacity, we poured our souls into the crucible of time and affixed our name to the holy narrative of our people. It has been a long journey. I recall at one of the first Jewish feminist conferences, so you may not know this, do you realize that one of the first Jewish feminist conferences was the McAlpin Hotel? Anybody know what happened at the McAlpin Hotel? It is where Mordecai Kaplan was excommunicated and his prayer book burned. The first Reconstructionist prayer. And then look, you never know. Here was the hotel being the site for the first Jewish feminist conference. So at this feminist conference here in New York, a well-known Jewish feminist remarked, "If they won't give us a seat at tradition's table, we will set our own table." I didn't agree. I responded, "What we need to do is pull up a chair to tradition's table and help reset it." Our goal was to make what was once alternative tradition, and so it has been. I recall when prayer books began adding gender-inclusive language. Some of you may know this. The prayer books included two versions of the same prayer on the page. One was alternative. The other was tradition. I remember saying, you can't do that. As long as you call egalitarian prayer alternative, it will always be other. It will not be tradition. Once, Dennis and I, when we were on sabbatical, conducted a Seder in Milan. I suggested that to the people organizing it that we put a Miriam's cup on the Seder table. One of the organizers objected. She's not, we don't want any of those feminist rituals here. So I said, oh, no problem. This is not feminist. This is an American custom. And she says, okay then, it sounds great. Depends how you express it, right? So now Miriam's cup, it's a tradition. So one year I introduced the custom of putting an orange on the Seder plate, to my community. Just before Passover, I received a call from a Jewish owner of a local grocery store who really stocked up for Passover. And he says, I'm running short on oranges. I don't recall that being part of the traditional Seder. I smiled. Now it is. So much has changed. Our table is large enough for all of us to pull up a chair. An Indiana folk singer, Carrie Newcomer, with whom I have collaborated and whom I hope you will open up and listen to. She's amazing. She says all this best in one of her songs. Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is room at the table for everyone. There is enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Judith's bat mitzvah was where it all began. The message contained in the words that she spoke in 1992 to our daughter Debbie, as she became a bat mitzvah, still animates us. I recall Judith standing on the bima, facing Debbie, and saying with a smile, Debbie, today you are the youngest bat mitzvah, and I am the oldest. Remember this, she added. Make of your Judaism a thing of great joy. From 1974 to 1977, when I attended services on Friday night at the Reconstructionist congregation in the North Shore, where Dennis and Ira led the service, I could taste that joy. And I'm going to add, I can taste it here, too. There was Judith playing the piano and having us all read music and sing. And so it is my wish that the joy she radiated continue to sustain and bind us and play music in our souls during these hard and dark times. Thank you, Judith, for pulling up a chair, for your contributions to Jewish music, and for the gifts we are all still unwrapping. Thank you very much.
That perspective is unbelievable. And Rabbi Sasso, you have been doing this work and paving the way for all of us and making Judaism richer for every single one and for all of our children and children's children's. Thank you one more time. Let's say Shakoach, and thank you so much for being with us and honoring our bima with your presence. Shakoach. Thank you. You want to introduce the song?
For those of you who were here Thursday night, this is going to be a little bit of a repeat, but so I hope you'll sing along on the refrain. But I did write a song for this special occasion to add to the celebration, to reflect on where we've been, to bring in elements of our Jewish story, to remind us of those who came before us, and to celebrate those women who paved the way for us more recently in our Jewish community and as well as our broader American community. The words are in your handout, so please follow along. And I hope you enjoyed it. It's called Hineni, Here I Am. There's nothing like finding out the night before. You'll be the first one to walk through that door, caught off guard and scared, but reminded you're already fully prepared. Some may snicker, some look away, some might just sit and stare and not know what to say. And even though it's a different door, here I stand where my presence matters. Here I stand, my voice is heard. I will raise up all of those who came before me, who reached out their hands
Shikoah, amazing. Whew. Okay, we invite Debbie Rand to open the ark, Janet to come forward to hold the Torah. Invite you to please rise for putting the Torah back in the ark. And if Allison is still here and can come stand near me. Oh, she's not. Okay. She was here before. Do you want help? Yeah.
Page 433. Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Kiniskav Shemu Levado, Odo Aleretz Vishamayim, Vayarem Keren Le'amo, Tehila Lechol Chasidav, Livnei Yisrael, Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 441 in the middle of the Hebrew, Eitz Chaim He. Eitz Chaim He lama chazikim ba v'tom teha meyushar. Eitz Chaim He lama chazikim ba v'tom teha meyushar. Tenacheha docheinu v'kol netimoteh shalom.
You can be, stay standing. I just wanted to acknowledge that all the Torah honors today, the Ark openers and the Torah holders are female chairs of SAJ, and there are 2 online. Saray Crane, if we can spotlight you, and also Linda Stern, as well as Jill Prosky, and Allison Spitz, was here earlier. In the 100-year-old history of SAJ, I think that's it. I think those are the female chairs of SAJ. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for pioneering leadership and for helping us be where we are. Yesher koach. Aleinu, page 445.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latit gedula liyotzer bereshit, shenatan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech machei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continue on the next page, the bottom 3 lines. Kakatu v'toratech Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemar v'haya Adonai
mourner's Kaddish is on page 451. If you're reciting the Kaddish or if it's your custom to stand. We remember today Fred Snyder, Hortense Tencha, Enriquez, Nathan Lieb Goldstein, Dr. Ruth Deborah Nass, Enid Klott, and Ruth Klott, and I forgot your Klott. Anyone else? Any names? We're remembering Nikki Beller, Michael Davidson, Yit Gadal, Mikadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad Yivarach Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uvchayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala Uvizman Kariv V'yimru. Amen. Amen. Shmei Rama Mavarach Le'olam Omei Almaya. Yiparach, Yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemeda Kudasha, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, Daminran v'yama v'imru. Amen. Amen. V'hei shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav. Say shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, al kol yoshei tevel ve'imru. Amen. 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 May the source of healing be with all of you, and let us say amen. So I see a bunch of, you can be seated. I see a bunch of people outside, and I want to bring in Deborah and Debbie for a second, and and as Janet comes up for announcements. Deborah has done an amazing, amazing job teaching bat mitzvah to 6th, 7th graders, and then hosting this Yom Iyun today with Rabbi Sandy Sasso. Deborah, thank you so much for everything. And Debbie Rudd has, of course, done so much for this event and the building and the Kiddush and everything else. And for those of you who do not know, Eden is standing next to, Eden is our administrator for the 100th. Oh my gosh, so above and beyond. The last 3 weeks have been nonstop, 24/7, like bat mitzvah and everything. And you are just amazing. Thank you so much for being with us. So thank you guys so, so much. Is this still working? Is it better? Okay, Janet, please come forward. And as you're coming forward, Sarah Baglio wanted me to make sure to shout out the allies who also help make it possible for all of us, many of us first. And in fact, it was Abe Klott who had Michael Davidson, Zichrono Livracha, and his daughter Sarah, who was in college at the time, basically come forward for Hagbah and Galila, not knowing that he had switched the order and asked Sarah to do Hagbah for the first time. And everyone, I hear the stories, it was like, in the room at SAJ. So Yeshua Koach to Abe and all he has done and all those others who have enabled us to be here.
I am not on the program, but we are not going to end this month, thank you, Sandy, this week, this day, this celebration, without expressing our joy for the female leadership of this congregation. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. One of the lines that I had written into the announcements was to thank the superwomen that have made all of this possible. Our incredible clergy, Rabbi Lauren and Cantor Lisa, it's just amazing. And Judith Eisenstein would have been so proud to see the joy in this synagogue today. Welcome back to Michelle Katz and Sarah Bramer-Schley, who came to SAJ for the celebration today. Thank you to both Ava Stryker-Robbins and Laura Gottlieb-Feldman for laning. Thank you to Ruth Messenger for any, the list could go on, but we're just going to say thank you to Ruth Messenger. Thank you to Rick Moore for leading the Tish, and most importantly, for organizing the Judith Kaplan 1922 Instagram stories. We're grateful to your leadership, Mick, and for helping a new generation, and frankly, for helping us learn so much more about the first bat mitzvah. Thank you to Rabbi Sandy Sasso for being with us, for reading to McCone students upstairs, and for your very enlightening talks Thursday night and today. And most of all, thank you for your courage in paving the way as the first female Reconstructionist rabbi. Today and at the National Commemoration on Thursday night, we have just had an incredible experiences. Thank you to all who were involved in this historic program, including having the first female governor of New York at this very bima. And I know I was talking President of the United States in there. It'll happen. And we have a whole lot more to look forward to throughout all of 2022 and in the upcoming weeks. On Thursday, March 31st, we'll host the opening celebration of our archival exhibit, A New Kind of Judaism. The exhibit includes historic documents, photographs, letters, and art forms from approximately the first 30 years of SAJ's existence. It's 30 to 50. It celebrates the intersection of Reconstructionism, education, community, the arts, and social justice as envisioned by our founder, Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan. On Saturday, April 22nd, we'll have another 100th Years event with scholar-in-resident Dr. Eric Kaplan, who'll give 3 different presentations on dimensions of Kaplan, Reconstructionism, and social justice. There'll be many more details about this to follow. Just watch the emails and all your emails. Everyone in the sanctuary is invited upstairs for Kiddush after service. We just ask that you wear your mask while you're getting food. But if you're not comfortable with that, there's always grab-and-go snacks in the lobby, and you can actually have both if you like. So have Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and have a great week.
I also want to raise up, since this is the anniversary of the first bat mitzvah, not only was Judith Kaplan the first bat mitzvah, but she was a very talented musician and ethnomusicologist, and we're having an event on May 14th at the Shabbat, and we're bringing in a number of amazing scholars and rabbis who knew Judith to speak with her, to speak about her, her daughter Miriam Eisenstein and Rabbi Liz Bolton and Rabbi Bob Gluck, who I saw on earlier, are going to be here. It's going to be very exciting to speak about her works as a musicologist, as a composer, and very interactive with a lot of music, and you'll learn a lot more about her as an adult. So I hope you can all make it, and I also want to give a very special thanks to Shai Kedmi and Glenn Grossman in our music ensemble. It's very happy to have you here.
Amazing, amazing music. Thank you guys so much. April 2nd, not April 22nd, but you will see in your emails. Adon Olam, page 459, a melody by my colleague Miriam Margles.
Adon Olam, Hashem Alach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, V'chefzo kol, Azai Melech Shembo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora.
Shabbat Shalom.